I have already written to you of how, in the will of love, light ariseth as the secret part of life. And in the first, the little loves, the attained life is still personal. Later it becometh impersonal and universal. Now then is will arrived, may I say so, at its magnetic pole, whence the lines of force point alike every way and no way, and love is also no more a work, but a state. These qualities are become part of the universal life, which proceedeth infinitely with the enjoyment of the will, and of love as inherent therein. These things, therefore, in their perfection, have lost their names and their natures. Yet these were the substance of life, its father and mother, and without their operation and impact, life itself will gradually cease its pulsations. But since the infinite energy of the whole universe is therein, what then is possible but that it return to its own first intention, dissolving itself little by little into that light which is most secret and most subtle nature? For this universe is in truth zero, being an equation whereof zero is the sum, whereof this is the proof, that if not, it would be unbalanced, and something would have come from nothing, which is absurd. This light, or nothing, is then the resultant or totality, therefore in pure perfection, and all other states, positive or negative, are imperfect, since they omit their opposites. Yet I would have you consider that this equality or identity of equation between all things and no thing is most absolute, so that you will remain no more in the one than you did in the other, and you will understand this greatest mystery very easily in the light of those other experiences which you will have enjoyed, wherein motion and rest, change and stability, and many other subtle opposites have been redeemed to identity by the force of your holy meditation. The greatest gift of the law, then, cometh forth by the most perfect practice of the three lesser gifts. And so thoroughly must you travail in this work, that you are able to pass from one side of the equation to the other at will, nay, to comprehend the whole at once and forever. This then your time and space-bound soul shall travel according to its nature in its orbit, revealing the law to them that walk in chains, for that this is your particular function. Now here is the mystery of the origin of evil. Firstly, by evil we mean that which is in opposition to our own wills. It is therefore a relative and not an absolute term. For everything which is the greatest evil of someone is the greatest good of some other, just as the hardness of the wood which wearieth the axeman is the safety of him that ventureth himself upon the sea in a ship built of that wood. And this is a truth easy to apprehend, being superficial and intelligible to the common mind. All is evil and thus relative or apparent or illusory. But returning to philosophy, I will repeat that its root is always in duality. Therefore the escape from this apparent evil is to seek the unity, which you shall do as I have already shewn you. But I will now make mention of that which is written concerning this in the book of the law. The first step being will, evil appears by this definition, all that hinders the execution of the will. Therefore it is written, the word of sin is restriction. It should also be noted that in the book of the 30 Ethers, evil appears as Choronzon, whose number is 333, which in Greek importeth impotence and idleness, and the nature of Choronzon is dispersion and incoherence. Then in the way of love, evil appears as all that which tends to prevent the union of any two things. Thus the book of the law saith, under the figure of the voice of Nuit, take your fill and will of love as ye will, when, where, and with whom ye will, but always unto me. For every act of love must be under will, that is, in accordance with the true will, which is not to rest content with things partial and transitory, but to proceed firmly to the end. So also in the book of 30 Ethers, the black brothers are those who shut themselves up, unwilling to destroy themselves by love. Thirdly, in the way of life, evil appears under a subtler form, as all that which is not impersonal and universal. Here the book of the law by the voice of Hadith informeth us. In the sphere I am everywhere the sinner, and again, I am life and the giver of life. Come unto me is a foolish word, for it is I that go. For I am perfect, being not, For this life is in every place and time at once, so that in it these limitations no longer exist. And you will have seen this for yourself, that in every act of love time and space disappear with the creation of the life by its virtue, as also doth personality itself. For the third time, then, in even subtler sense, the word of sin is restriction. Lastly, in the way of light, this same versicle is the key to the conception of evil. But here restriction is in the failure to solve the great equation, and, later, to prefer one expression or phase of the universe to the other. Against this we are warned in the book of the law by the word of Nuit, saying none and two. For I am divided for love's sake, for the chance of union. And therefore, if this be not aright, if you confound the space marks saying they are one, or saying they are many, then expect the direful judgments. Now therefore, by the favor of Thoth am I come to the end of this my book. And do you arm yourselves accordingly with the four weapons, the wand for liberty, the cup for love, the sword for life, the disc for light. And with these work all wonders by the art of high magic, under the law of the new eon, whose word is Thelema. Love is the law, love under will.